The water exploded upward in a white roar as the massive black and white body surged against the net, and for one breathless second the entire stadium seemed to forget how to breathe. The camera shook, the crowd gasped, and the sunlight glittered off the pool like shattered glass. What people didn't see in that viral clip was the quiet terror pulsing beneath the surface, or the human heart racing just beyond the frame. This was not just an orca thrashing in a net. This was the moment Jessica Radcliffe realized that one ordinary daytime shift could change her life forever. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of empathy to change outcomes, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel and stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. The morning had begun with clear skies and a gentle breeze, the kind of bright, open day that made the oceanarium feel almost peaceful. Jessica Radcliffe arrived early, as she always did, walking along the concrete edge of the pool with a clipboard tucked under her arm and salt already in the air. She had been working with marine mammals for years, driven by a childhood love of the sea and a promise she once made to herself that she would always treat animals with respect. The orca, a powerful female named Kaya, was known for her intelligence in unpredictable moods, and today's routine health check required a temporary lift using a reinforced net. It was supposed to be quick, safe, and controlled. That was the plan, at least. As the crane hummed to life and the net lowered into the water, Jessica felt the familiar tension in her chest. She trusted her team, trusted the equipment, and trusted Kaya more than most people ever could. But trust did not erase risk. The net tightened gently around Kaya's body, designed to support her weight without causing harm. For a few seconds, everything went smoothly. Then Kaya twisted. The movement was sudden and powerful, driven by instinct and fear rather than aggression. Water surged over the pool's edge as Kaya tried to free herself, her tail striking the surface with a force that echoed through the stands. The crowd, gathered for a daytime demonstration that was never meant to include this procedure, went silent. Jessica's heart slammed against her ribs as she realized something was wrong. The net had shifted, pressing in a way it wasn't meant to, and Kaya's distress was growing by the second. Jessica didn't think about the cameras. She didn't think about the audience or the potential consequences. She thought about the animal she had helped care for, the one she had watched learn new behaviors, the one whose eye she had met countless times across the water. She moved closer to the pool's edge, signaling to the crew with sharp, urgent gestures. Her mind raced through protocols, contingency plans, and worst-case scenarios. The sun beat down relentlessly, turning the pool into a blinding mirror as Kaya continued to twist, the net creaking under the strain. The viral video captured only fragments of what followed. It showed Kaya suspended partially above the water, her massive body fighting gravity, and it showed workers in red safety suits rushing into position. What it didn't show was Jessica's internal battle, the split-second decisions that could mean life or death. She felt fear like ice in her veins, but beneath it was something stronger, responsibility. She had chosen this life knowing moments like this could happen, and now that choice demanded everything from her. As the crane operator hesitated, unsure whether to lift higher or lower, Jessica waved him down. She could see the way the net pressed against Kaya's side, and she knew lifting further could worsen the pressure. At the same time, releasing too quickly could cause a dangerous fall. The crowd began to murmur, anxiety rippling outward as people sensed the gravity of the situation. Children clutched their parents' hands. Adults leaned forward, phones raised, capturing what would later spread across the internet stripped of context and emotion. Jessica climbed onto the narrow platform beside the pool, ignoring the spray soaking her clothes. She focused on Kaya's breathing, the rhythm of her movements, searching for signs of panic tipping into exhaustion. Every second felt stretched, elastic and fragile. She signaled for the net to be loosened incrementally, her arms steady even as her legs trembled. Around her, the team responded with practiced precision, each person trusting the others completely. Time blurred into a series of heartbeats and shouted signals. The sun glared down, and the smell of salt and machinery filled the air. Kaya's movements slowed, not from calm but from fatigue, and that frightened Jessica more than the thrashing had. She leaned closer, speaking softly, not in commands but in reassurance, the way she always did during training sessions. She didn't know if Kaya understood the words, but she believed the tone mattered. Compassion mattered. Finally, with a careful adjustment, the net slackened enough to relieve the pressure. The crane lowered Kaya back toward the water, inch by agonizing inch. The moment Kaya's body touched the surface, the pool erupted again, but this time it was different. Water splashed high as Kaya slipped free, diving down and resurfacing moments later with a powerful exhale that sounded almost like relief. The crowd broke into applause, a spontaneous release of tension, but Jessica barely heard it. She sank to her knees, overcome by a wave of emotion she had been holding back. The crisis was over, but the story was only beginning. Within hours, clips of the incident flooded social media, often without explanation. Headlines screamed about danger and controversy, about a woman too close to a killer whale, about a dramatic encounter caught on camera. Jessica watched the footage later that night, sitting alone in her small apartment as the daylight faded. She saw herself as the internet saw her, a tiny figure beside a giant animal, frozen in a moment of chaos. What she didn't see was the full truth, the care, the training, the love that had guided her actions. The days that followed were heavy. Investigations were launched, opinions flew, and strangers judged her choices without knowing her heart. Jessica questioned herself more than anyone else ever could. She replayed every second, wondering what she could have done differently, what risks she had underestimated. Yet amid the doubt, there were messages too. Notes from colleagues, marine biologists, and even viewers who sensed the humanity behind the clip. They thanked her for staying calm, for putting the animal first, for reminding them that these creatures were not spectacles but lives deserving respect. Jessica returned to work under the bright daytime sun a week later, standing once more by the pool's edge. Kaya surfaced nearby, her eye breaking the waterline, and for a quiet moment the world seemed to narrow to just the two of them. There was no dramatic gesture, no viral-worthy scene, just a shared presence. Jessica felt a tear slip down her cheek, not from fear this time, but from gratitude. The encounter had tested her in ways she never expected, but it had also reaffirmed why she was there. The true story behind the viral video was not about danger or spectacle. It was about responsibility under pressure, about choosing empathy when fear would have been easier. It was about a human being standing in the daylight, refusing to look away when something she cared for was in trouble. The internet moved on, as it always does, chasing the next shocking clip, but the impact of that day stayed with Jessica, shaping her work and her resolve. She began speaking openly about the incident, not to defend herself, but to educate. She talked about animal welfare, about the complexities of working with powerful creatures, about the importance of humility in the face of nature. Each time she shared the story, she emphasized that the real lesson was not about control, but about connection. The world didn't need more viral moments. It needed more understanding. As the sun dipped lower over the oceanarium, casting long reflections across the water, Jessica often thought about how close everything had come to going wrong. She also thought about how close it had come to going right, because people had acted with care instead of panic. That balance, she realized, was where hope lived. In those narrow spaces where fear met compassion, where a single decision could ripple outward in ways unseen. If this story has touched your heart, if it made you feel something real beneath the noise of the internet, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and engage with it. Your interaction helps keep meaningful stories alive and reminds creators that depth still matters. And before we reach the end, I have one special request for you. Please comment below with a single word that captures how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. The daylight faded, the pool grew calm, and life continued, quieter but wiser. Somewhere beyond the frame of a viral video, a woman and an orca carried on, bound by a moment that taught millions something simple and profound. Kindness, even under pressure, can change the ending.